Hey guys, welcome back to the DMapp Mastering YouTube channel. I'm your host, Damon Mapp, and today we're going to be talking about time-delayed effects, specifically reverb and delay. We're going to provide some examples, we're going to do some deep listening, and hear them in the demo track that we've been using from the previous tutorial. So let's dive right in. Let's listen to the track that we used in the past tutorial when we were mixing this track down with compression and EQ. We're using the same demo, What I Like from Craig Lloyd, and let's hear it without effects. And I'm going to play it from the first verse to about the hook, completely dry.
Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy. Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy. I've got it all, everything I want. Material possession, everything money can buy. But what I need, you can provide. All I need is you in my life, so I can laugh.
There you go, folks. That's the song What I Like from artist Craig Lloyd. I'll post a link where we did a tutorial and discussion on compression and EQ, and you can go and check that out. So for this tutorial, we're going to listen to reverb and what it sounds like, what type of effects, what are we going to be listening for. So we'll just start track by track. Since we're using just native plugins for the most part, I'm going to use ChromaVerb. And ChromaVerb here, it comes with Logic Pro X, very good program, very good reverb. Logic happens to come with very good quality plugins. I suggest you take a look, and I always say use your ears. Numbers mean nothing, and you don't need to dive into a big plugin manufacturer subscription-based service where you get thousands of plugins, where you get paralysis analysis or analysis paralysis, whichever way you want to coin or phrase it, or whichever way it goes. What I like about Logic Pro X is it comes with some quality plugins, compressors, EQs, reverbs, delays. We're going to take a look at one of the reverbs today called ChromaVerb. I'm just using a very basic setting. I think it's actually a default that I use with called dark room. I have a decay of 2 seconds, which means the decay is just how long you want the reverb to last. I try to not have it buried in reverb, so I try to keep the setting around -28 is where it sounds good for me. Again, listen and use your ears. This is what sounds good to me. You may want to have a higher number to hear more reverb, or you may want to have a lower number to hear less reverb. This is where it sounded good to me. So if I add the drums and I add reverb on all the drums, specifically the snare and the crashes, because the claps don't come in until the first verse. But if we played the drums and we listen to the reverb, let's first turn it off. We'll turn the reverb off first to listen to it. Now let's turn it on. Now let's listen to the first verse. I'll turn it off. Now I'll turn it on. Now, as you can hear, it just adds a little bit more dimension to the song, a little more 3D effect, and that's just the drums. Let's take a listen to the instruments, and we'll go back to the hook. I'll turn it off. And it's off, so now let's play just the instruments, and halfway through, I will engage it after about 4 bars. Here we go. So as you can hear, again, very subtle. And that's what you want. You don't want things drowning in reverb, because the more it drowns in reverb, the more it kind of takes the background seat. And at that point, it's being used as an effect, which is cool, but it just depends on the type of sound you're looking for. Once again, always use your ears. So now let's listen to the hook without reverb, and I'll gauge it 4 bars in.
Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy. Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy.
So just beautiful sounding. Again, makes it a little bit more spacious, deeper, gives it some dimension. So now let's go over to the hook Adlibs. We're gonna do the same thing, just the reverb.
You got what I like. You got what I like. You got what I like. You've got what I like.
There we go. Hook Adlibs. Once again, ignore the headphone bleed. You may ask yourself, why did I leave it in there? Because I like it. If I was tracking a live band, there'd be nothing but bleed all over the place. And it just gives it kind of some organic dimension to it. So let's play the hook and the hook Adlibs together. We'll play it before reverb and then after. I'll bring it in after 4 bars.
Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy. Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy.
Beautiful. And as you can hear, it just gives it a little dimension, like a warm hug almost. Space, airiness. Let's play the first verse now, and we'll do the leads without reverb. 4 bars in, we'll engage it.
I've got it all, everything I want, material possession, everything money can buy. But what I need, you can provide. All I need is you in my life, so I can act.
There we go. More dimension, space, just like the hook in the hook Adlib bus. I'm using the same exact settings. It's on -28. I just want a little bit. Let's go over to the lead Adlib bus. Do the same thing.
You in my life.
Yeah, it just gives it that little extra something, All right, so let's play them both together. Lead Adlibs and lead bus. I will engage 4 bars in.
I've got it all, everything I want, material possession, everything money can buy. But what I need, you can provide. All I need is you in my life.
This sounds nice. I can't even describe it in words, but again, it's a little more spacious, airy, 3D-ish, gives it some depth. Okay, let's listen to the mix without reverb, and then I'll engage it halfway through. We'll play the hook first. We'll let it roll 4 bars. I'll engage it. Then I'll disengage it when the verse comes, and I'll engage it again 4 bars into the first verse. And the effect is going to be very subtle, so you're going to need some high-quality headphones, studio monitors, maybe listen to your car. You may not hear the effect on your phone speaker or your laptop speaker. Here we go.
Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. provide. All I need is you in my life, so I can laugh.
All right, so I hope you're able to hear it. I don't send a lot of signal to the reverb because I like a pretty dry mix. And, you know, depending on the genre that you're using, you may want to use either more or less. One thing that I forgot to mention was that when you are setting up a reverb, you're literally setting it up as a bus. So I have it here as a bus, as bus 5. And I put my reverb on there. And then whatever my send is, I send it to that bus, which is my reverb. Right? And then now anything, if I increase this or lower it, I can send as much or little to it to the reverb bus. The reason why you would use a bus on a reverb is because sometimes reverbs will take up a lot of processing power. And, you know, if you have an M1 to M2 Mac today, you probably don't, you know, you probably have enough computer power, processing power. But for those of you who are still on older machines, if you were to take this ChromaVerb and multiply it against many tracks, it may use up more CPU than necessary. So unless you're using it for an effect or you have some automation going on, or like a snare, if you wanted to hit a loud reverb at one point, then maybe you can put it on a single channel, enable it with some automation, and turn it off to save some CPU cycles. But normally, I would set it up as a bus. So now let's go look at the delay. Logic, again, has a nice delay. I have one here called ping pong delay. I like the slow effect of the quarter note as opposed to a quicker for eighth note. This song is pretty much of a mellow, slow tempo, so I don't need a fast delay. Maybe if it's like a house music or electronic music, something like that, or more up-tempo R&B music or rock or something maybe, or an effect, you know. And what we would do is the same thing. I created a bus. It's just bus 6, and I have my channels here that are sent to it. I have a couple of leads here that are sent to it also, which you'll be able to hear. And I'll engage this as well. So let's engage these. And we'll hear that. And nothing too fancy. I don't want to, this is not really a deep dive in delay. This is literally picking one. I picked one with the quarter note dotted, I believe. Did I pick the dotted? It's either the dotted or the triplet. I can't remember which one I picked. But again, use your ear, right? And you just tweak it as you can. I made it tempo sync, which means that whatever my tempo is, which is 80, it's going to sync to the tempo. And I stereo linked it. So if I move one dial, the other dial will move as well. That's about it. So let's close that out. And then, again, this is another good stock Logic plugin. It's called delay, stereo delay. So let's engage all of them right now. And we'll listen to I only have the delays on like Adlibs. My strategy for putting something on delay is an Adlib, because an Adlib is something that you don't really play all the time. It's just kind of like in the background, but it gives it like a kind of elongated effect. So let me play the hook without it, and halfway in I'll play it with.
You got what I like.
Engage.
You got what I like. You got what I like. You've got what I like.
So as you can hear the tails just delay on and on and on, and kind of subtly just disappears. It adds another layer of dimension on top of or after the reverb. It just sounds sweet to my ears. You can add more or you can add less depending on what you need it for. Now let's move on to the lead Adlibs. We're going to play the lead Adlibs without it and then with it.
You in my life.
There we go. So it kind of just extends the note. It's kind of thickens it up a little bit, but still gives it some dimension. And following the reverb, it just sounds very sweet to my ears. So now let's listen to the first verse. There's a little section here that I added the reverb to, and you'll hear it. I added the delay to, and we're gonna listen to it off, and then I'll play it back again on.
I've got it all, everything I want, material possession, everything money can buy. But what I need,
all right, now we're going to engage it.
I've got it all, everything I want, material possession, everything money can buy. But what I need.
And as you can hear again, it kind of just, ping pongs from left to the right speaker and then fades out. It's such a smooth effect, very subtle but smooth. So let's listen to the entire song again. I'm going to actually mute the reverb and delay, and then I'll unmute it when 4 bars into the track. Here we go.
Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy. Caramel skin, sweet and tempting, body wrapped in pure affection. So enticing, no denying, you're a queen of fantasy. I've got it all, everything I want, material possession, everything money can buy. But what I need, you can provide. All I need is you in my life, so I can laugh.
And there you go, folks. Reverb and delay. Very simple. Leave a comment. Got any questions, comments, concerns below. And be sure to check the other links to my compressor and EQ tutorial. I love to have a discussion on reverb and delay. What reverbs do you use? What delays do you use? How do you use them? Do you bust them? Do you put them on an individual track? Do you use a lot of reverb? Do you send a lot of signal to the reverb or not? Love to hear your comments. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day.